we're headed towards a world where robots are everywhere. Robotic technology is moving out from behind factory walls. It's entering workplaces, households. And I can tell you from working with roboticists that we're pretty far away from developing robots that can feel anything. But we feel for them. And that matters, because if we're trying to integrate robots into these shared spaces, we need to understand that people will treat them differently than other devices. And that in some cases, for example, the case of a soldier who becomes emotionally attached to the robot that they work with, that can be anything from inefficient to dangerous.
AI is lift, shift, rift, or cliff for absolutely every single industry and every individual you can imagine. Folks that put their head in the sand and pretend their jobs aren't going to change for AI, those are the folks who are going to lose their jobs, not the people who are going to evolve with it. That's the employee side. Now, the application use case is absolutely every industry. You name the industry, there's an AI use. I don't have one industry there's not an AI use case for.
Within the next 4 years, 30% of all searches are going to be done without a screen, meaning you are going to invoke that search either on your watch, in your car, with your Alexa, with your Google Home, whatever platform it may be, whatever Apple comes up with. Voice is the most natural and amazing user experience and user interface that we will ever experience. Think about how you clunkily move through technology, but if you have to ask for something, it's very, very immediate. But that's not even the story. The story that they're trying to sell you on, the reality of the story is that this technology will be embedded in everything.
Figuring out ways to drive new technology that's complementary, that can create change, is really one of the key aspects of how one thinks about innovation these days. So you have to be able to deal with the fact that companies really don't want to change in some cases, and you have to figure out a way to present change as an opportunity that is complementary to existing internal R&D.
AI allows us to expand the range of the possible, to do things that we didn't know that we could do before. And you can do things in design, diagnosis, manufacturing and management, sales and configuration, and quality control. Across the board, you can get better performance if you use machine learning and AI. I think that AI and machine learning are not going to be sources of nirvana or gloom and doom. That AI comes with trade-offs. Better, faster, cheaper, different problem solving, and also job disruption and human identity change, and risk amplification, and some risk reduction.
As humans, we like to believe we have our poker face. With the amalgamation of sensors on us, around us, and in our environments, I believe we're getting to a place where the signals and tells that give us away, those reveals are becoming quite obvious. Our bodies radiate our stories. What we can track are the dynamic thermal responses that are exuded that can be measured from the changes in your physiology. They give away how hard your brain is working, your stress levels, whether you're engaged in a conversation you might be having at a particular moment in time. We can even track regions on people's faces and be able to identify whether they are experiencing an image of fire as if it were real.
The final frontier of robotics is actually the fusion between people and robotics. Now that may sound absolutely terrifying, but the applications again are incredibly inspiring and constructive. This is a guy, Johnny Matheson. He is the world's first person to have a robotic arm that is thought controlled. When he thinks, he is able to move those fingers and that arm and pick up objects, everything from a feather to a bottle of water or whatever he wants. These kinds of inventions will begin rolling out more and more in our everyday lives. And just think about what that means for the many, many people who suffer from disabilities, who are faced with life-changing injuries, war veterans, people who really, really need our support and don't always get it from outdated medical systems, the ability to actually be self-sufficient again with this kind of hardware. Absolutely extraordinary.